Hi there. A few months ago, I had a lot of fun roasting a whole pork shoulder in a cast iron Dutch oven, and I loved how it turned out. Doing research for that video introduced me to pernil, the famous and very popular Puerto Rican roasted pork shoulder that everyone loves to serve on holidays, weddings, and really for any reason at all. So this gave me an urge to try my hand at making a Puerto Rican style pernil. Preparing this recipe certainly was a learning experience. Some people prefer to prepare the pernil by cutting slits and poking holes in the skin and pressing seasoning through the skin. And I found that if the pork is roasted uncovered, the seasonings can burn. So for this attempt, we're separating the skin from the pork and using it to cover the meat. And let's see what happens.
As with many popular dishes, the preparations for roasting pernil aren't hard, but it does take a lot of time to get this ready. We're making a sofrito seasoning, which will be inserted below the skin of the pork. A lot of people use a food processor to mix the seasonings together, but I haven't had a lot of luck with those, so we're using an old-fashioned mortar and pestle to crush the seasonings. Once the seasonings are blended together, we then mix in some tomato paste, salt and pepper to taste, and add a 1/4 cup of white wine. Then come the essential seasonings of cilantro and parsley. A true Puerto Rican pernil also uses culantro in the sofrito, but culantro can be hard to find and cilantro will work just fine. We then prepare a rub for the pork shoulder using olive oil, vinegar, and a lot of salt. Prepare the pernil by separating the skin from the pork so that it drapes over the top of the pork shoulder. We then begin cutting holes in the pork and inserting the sofrito. It's easier to use a cross cut to make a hole rather than a single slit. We then insert some of the sofrito and also insert a slice of garlic. Then we start working on inserting the sofrito into the pork, punching many holes and inserting the seasonings and garlic. Do this for as many times as you can until you feel it's all finished. Then we turn the pernil over and do the same thing to the other side, punching a lot of holes and inserting the sofrito and the garlic. Finally, we cover the pork with the skin and rub salt into the skin to dry it out. Then we cover the pernil and let it marinate in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. The next day, we preheat the oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit and prepare a rub of salt, pepper, and baking powder for the skin. This will help dry the skin and make it crisp as it roasts. And now it's time to break out the cast iron. Uncover the pernil and place it into the Dutch oven with the skin side up and covering the meat. Rub the outer skin with the rub, generously coating the skin. We then insert a probe thermometer into the meat underneath the fat cap. We want to roast the pernil until the internal temperature reaches 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, look at this. And the best part is, we're not done yet.
No, indeed, this pernil isn't finished yet. After covering it with a lid to let the pork rest, we then heat the oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we remove the cover from the pot and place it back into the oven once again. We let the pernil roast at 500 degrees for 25 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is definitely done. Another 15 minutes.
And now, at last, our roasted pork pernil is ready to serve.
Even though it marinated with salt for 24 hours and was given a rub of salt, pepper, and baking powder, the skin didn't turn out as crunchy as the previous roast pork. However, the pork itself was really good because it was roasted to about 190 degrees, and that meant it wasn't simply falling apart but could easily be sliced. And even though pork shoulder is a tough cut of meat, it wasn't tough or chewy at all. The roast pork definitely made this worth the effort, and I can certainly see why pernil is so popular. This is a dish I'll be returning to, but meanwhile, I do hope you've enjoyed watching this Yankee make an attempt at trying this for the holidays. Thank you for watching.